Everyone expected chaos at WrestleMania 41, but no one could have predicted this. The moment Paul Heyman betrayed Roman Reigns, the entire WWE Universe froze. And it wasn't just a betrayal of the tribal chief, it was a betrayal of CM Punk, of loyalty, of years of storytelling. With one shocking move, Heyman aligned himself with Seth Rollins, the very man Roman Reigns has spent years avoiding, mocking, and trying to erase from his story. But what made the betrayal cut even deeper was the moment right before it all went to hell, when Seth Rollins extended a symbolic hand, offering a Shield reunion mid-match. It was the ultimate fan service. A callback to one of the most dominant factions in wrestling history, and just like that, Roman Reigns rejected it. Not with words, not with hesitation, with violence. One brutal spear to Seth Rollins at ringside, and the dream was dead. But that moment wasn't just about wrestling, it was about legacy, trust, power, and the dark truth about how far Roman Reigns has fallen. Let's break this down from the start. WrestleMania 41 was hyped as the most unpredictable show in WWE history. Roman Reigns was defending his claim to the head of the table. But this wasn't just about gold anymore. This was about control. Roman walked into the match with CM Punk and Seth Rollins as the man who ruled WWE for over 3 years. But he didn't walk out the same way. During the match, the unthinkable happened. Seth Rollins, his longtime rival and former Shield brother, looked Roman in the eye and offered him a moment of unity. A Shield-style powerbomb. The crowd lost its mind. Chants echoed across the stadium. For a split second, Roman looked like he might play along. He looked like he might forgive. But instead, he snapped. He took Rollins out with a devastating spear and left Punk wide open for Paul Heyman to strike. Now, what Paul did next wasn't just betrayal, it was strategy. Heyman had spent months looking like he was caught between two kings. Roman, the tribal chief, and Punk, the returning rebel. He whispered to both, advised both, but in the end, he chose a third option, Seth Rollins, the visionary, the man Heyman saw as the future. It wasn't just a power play, it was a survival move. Heyman saw Roman's empire falling apart. Jey Uso had turned his back, Jimmy was out with injury, Solo Sikoa was showing signs of rebellion. The bloodline wasn't a family anymore, it was a ticking time bomb. And Paul Heyman? He knew it. So, when WrestleMania 41 came around, he placed his final bet, not on the past, not on the rebellion, but on the future, on Seth Rollins, the one man who always finds a way to slither into the spotlight. But none of that explains why Roman Reigns rejected Seth Rollins' offer, why he refused to give the fans the moment they begged for. A Shield reunion would have made headlines across every platform. It would have trended worldwide, but Roman didn't care, because for him, the Shield isn't a memory worth celebrating, it's a wound that never healed. Rewind back to 2014, the chair shot that shattered the Shield didn't just break a faction, it broke a brotherhood. Roman never forgave Seth. Sure, they had matches, they shared moments, but that betrayal sits in Roman's mind like a thorn. When he returned in 2020 and reinvented himself, it was because of that pain. He knew he couldn't rely on anyone anymore, not even his brothers, not even Heyman. That's why he became the tribal chief. That's why he built the bloodline, not to honor the past, but to destroy it. And let's be honest, Roman Reigns doesn't do nostalgia. When he returned at SummerSlam 2020, it wasn't the Shield's music playing, it wasn't about teamwork, it was about domination. He shed the black vest, he changed the music, he didn't smile, he didn't pander, he transformed into something darker, more calculated. He became a monarch, not a soldier. And in his mind, a Shield reunion would have shattered that image. Fans might have loved it, but Roman Reigns doesn't work for fan reactions anymore. He works for legacy. His legacy. A reunion would have diluted that, would have made him look soft, weak, and Roman Reigns never wants to look weak again, especially not in front of Seth Rollins, the man who exposed his vulnerability once before. Now, let's talk about the real-world side of things. Fans kept asking, could Jon Moxley have shown up? Could this have been a full Shield reunion if deals were worked out behind the scenes? The answer? Almost definitely not. Jon Moxley is AEW's Chaos God. He's not stepping into WWE's carefully polished main events. He's bashing heads with barbed wire and thumbtacks. Even if AEW and WWE pulled off the impossible, Roman would have never signed off, because to bring Moxley back would have meant stepping into an old identity. Roman Reigns doesn't want to be one-third of anything. Not anymore. He's not a brother. He's not a tag partner, he's the final boss, period. A Shield reunion would have demoted him, and Roman Reigns doesn't get demoted, he promotes himself. The deeper truth is this: Roman's refusal wasn't just a character choice, it was a mirror, a reflection of his paranoia, his trauma, his need for control. When Seth offered the Shield powerbomb, Roman didn't just see a reunion, he saw the face of the man who betrayed him, he saw the weakness that cost him everything, and when Paul Heyman stabbed him in the back minutes later, it confirmed everything Roman feared. Loyalty is a lie, brotherhood is an illusion. Roman Reigns built the bloodline because he couldn't trust anyone, he made people fall in line, or he punished them, and yet, when WrestleMania 41 came, he lost control, he lost the match, he lost his wise man, and for a man like Roman, that loss is more dangerous than any opponent. So, what happens now? This isn't just the end of a story, this is the beginning of something terrifying. Roman Reigns is no longer the untouchable tribal chief, he's been exposed, and that makes him more dangerous. Paul Heyman aligning with Seth Rollins is a betrayal that will echo through the next year. Roman isn't going to walk away, he's going to reload, restructure, maybe even recruit, but he won't rest until Seth Rollins is broken beyond recognition. And Heyman? Roman's going to remind him why you don't double-cross the head of the table. Some fans are already speculating that this storyline is leading to Roman vs. Seth at WrestleMania 42, not just a match, a war, a reckoning. Seth may have won the battle, but Roman's the kind of man who burns kingdoms to the ground when he loses, and with CM Punk caught in the crossfire, don't be surprised if he ends up taking sides, or if Solo Sikoa becomes the wild card. There are so many moving pieces, and Roman's about to rearrange all of them to suit his vision, because this time, he's not just defending his title, he's reclaiming his throne. Let's not forget, Roman Reigns held WWE hostage for over 3 years. He controlled every main event, every rivalry, every storyline. He was the sun the company revolved around, and now that he's been eclipsed, he'll do anything to rise again. No more half measures, no more calculated politics. Roman is going to be unleashed, and when he comes back, it won't be as a tribal chief, it'll be as something even darker. The rejection of the Shield wasn't just a storyline beat, it was a warning. Roman Reigns doesn't need the past, he doesn't want your applause, he doesn't crave validation, all he wants is to sit alone at the top, feared, respected, and untouched. And if that means burning every bridge, burying every ally, and turning the fans against him, he'll do it without blinking. Because Roman Reigns didn't just reject a Shield reunion, he rejected the last piece of his humanity. Thanks for watching this video. If you think this story is over, you haven't been paying attention, subscribe to the channel, because what happens next between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and the broken remains of the bloodline will reshape WWE forever. The war has only just begun, and when Roman Reigns returns, he won't be looking for peace. He'll be looking for vengeance.